folks. Excuse me. Today's soap is brought to us from, I think it's called Speick, or I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce this one. But anyhow, it's a stick soap. And according to this down here, it says it's lavender in the way of scent. And this is what it looks like. I've been using it this past week along with a Merkur Futur. And here it is. This one here, let's see here, weighs about 3.8 ounces, almost 4 ounces. It's not a lightweight shaver by any means. It is adjustable. And I'm going to be using the settings 3 on the with the grain, 2 with across the grain, and then setting 1 for against the grain. And this particular shaver, I should mention, is about 4 inches in length. This particular shaver, it's a little bit on the aggressive side, so it won't be for everybody. Blade I'm going to be using is a Personna blade, and let's see here. Since it's more on the aggressive side, I found that settings 6, 5, and 4 with the grain pass, with using that setting first, there's still quite a bit of blade feel, and thinking that most people probably may not appreciate that aggressive shave, but maybe a 3, 2, and a 1 setting would work a lot better for some folks. If you're looking for something that's a lot smoother and you enjoy Merkur products, this one here is probably the one you might be looking for. This one here is the shorter handle, and it's about 3 inches in length. The long handled one is 3 3/4, I think it is, and it weighs right around the 3 ounce mark, so it's a little bit lighter, almost a full ounce lighter than the Merkur Futur. But this one here, really smooth shaves as far as I'm concerned, even on the highest setting. For me, I still get really nice shaves with it, smooth, comfortable, not a whole lot of, not quite as aggressive as the Futur. Futur is aggressive, and there is a article that came out from a sharpologist that, I guess you might say, kind of confirmed my my thoughts on it, that it is, the Merkur, it's a bit aggressive. So if you're not interested in that sort of shaver, you probably, you might want to go with a Progress. Now, these things, these shavers aren't exactly cheap either. So if you're looking for one with a longer handle, a Parker variant is probably the one that you would rather go for. These usually run about $57, pretty close, almost consistently. You can find these on used, gently used, like I did mine. I got mine for under $40. I think it's $38 is what I paid for mine, if I remember right. Anyhow, got mine somewhat cheaper than a new one. New ones are not cheap. This one here, this Merkur Futur, I got this one here off of eBay, and a whole lot cheaper than what you might see in other websites. But if you're looking for one with a longer handle that still give you a good smooth shave, the Parker variant is probably one that you're going to be looking for, one with a little bit longer handle there. Just a really nice shaver as far as I'm concerned. All three of these, depending on what kind of shave you're looking for, do quite well. Like I say, this one here, if you're looking for something that's a bit more aggressive, this one here is the one you'll be looking for. I don't shave under my nose, as you can tell, so I can't really speak to how it works under the nose. I've seen videos with folks that shave under the nose with it. It takes a bit of, I guess you might say, time to get used to it, work out your technique, what works best for you. And as you can tell, there's no ends of the blade sticking out on this one here, and this cap just pops right on off. But anyhow, this is it's a pretty nice shaver. Like it does have weight to it. It feels good in the hand. I already put a hot towel to the face this morning, coconut oil for my pre-shave, and like I say, this is the soap I'll be using this morning. The aftershave I'm going to be following up with Jolly Roger from Ship Grooming. And yeah, I've been using this all week. It's cool. Anyway, I've been having a good time with it. My alum block this morning, I still haven't dropped it yet, but you can kind of tell it's from Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements. It's getting really small, hard to hold on to. And I've got my Humphrey's Witch Hazel. It's got menthol and peppermint in it, and 16-ounce container, and that's all I've got left in it. It's been around for a little bit. go ahead and get started here with my face. The brush I'm using today is a Yaqi brush. It's a 24 millimeter boar knot. I had watched Tim's video, and he was using a sterling brush that is a boar knot, and I have that brush also. But to me, that sterling brush as well as this Yaqi brush, to me, are very closely related. Um, if I didn't know any better, I would almost say the same knot came from the same person. Uh, it takes a little bit to get them broke in. I know when I bowl lather with my brush, I don't have quite the problem getting it to lather up. But when I was face lathering, it's a little bit different story. Not that I've had a whole lot of experience face lathering by any means, but it has been a bit of a challenge to get it to lather up when I first started using it. I've gotten a lot better since this week since I've been using it, but it does seem like maybe I kind of lean with what Tim was going through. Perhaps it's not quite broke in just yet. Haven't used it enough to, I guess you might say, to have it good and broke in, because it does have a tendency to want to hang on to the lather. You have to squeeze it out, especially on the third pass, but I've gotten a little bit better with it. But it is something that maybe that I really do miss with bowl lathering. Your brush doesn't necessarily have to be all that well broke in to create a nice lather, as opposed to face lathering. And so I've noticed that what knot I use makes a world of difference in ease of lathering. Now it goes for this soap here. This soap here does a pretty good job lathering. The thing that stood out to me when I first started using this is, in my opinion, my usage. That's me. You might have if you've used this before, you might have a different experience. But the first thing I noticed is it doesn't seem to be quite as slick as some of the other stick soaps I've used. And part of this, I'm also kind of wondering if it has something to do with the fact that I'm still very new at face lathering, have a lot to learn. When I was reading on Italian Barber's website, it mentions, 15 to 20 shaves before you, I'm going to put a little bit of soap on my boar brush here. It's a nice looking one. A nice handle, feels good in the hand. I like boar brushes, but like I say, face lathering, I'm relatively new to it, but 15 to 20 shaves, and I still feel like I've got a ways to go. I'm putting a little bit of soap on here. I'm trying to make sure that I get plenty of soap, because like I say, with this one here, it has a tendency not to want to turn loose of it. And I think it has a lot to do with that. It's just not broke in yet, and I have a lot to learn with face lathering. If you didn't hear or notice what I was doing, I was squeezing most of the water out in hopes that it doesn't get too wet right off the start. And I'll keep on adding water as time goes on. But I really haven't had any problems with it lathering up. But it just didn't seem like it was as slick as the previous stick soaps that I've been using. And I don't think it has anything to do with the fact that I'm using a boar brush to create my lather. And since the lather rinses off pretty good, I'm thinking I've got it wet enough, which kind of comes up to here pretty soon when I have to face lather and do a shave-at shave. That's going to be the real test of how well I'm creating my lather. But the new year came in pretty good. I'll do another video here pretty soon, probably tomorrow. I had pre-ordered some single edge shavers as well as one double edge, and they came in from Classic Shaving, and I'll just do I guess you might say, an introduction to them, not an actual shave. I got one more DE. I'm going to do DE shaver before I start on those. But the shavers came in from Classic Shave, and give you a good look at them. I bought these at the very beginning, these shavers, these single edge from Classic Shaving, and first one I pre-ordered was back in June, and when I decided to do this sort of thing, knowing that this is the first time run and it's a pre-order, I kind of felt like that, you know, I should go in with what I consider eyes open, that there's going to be production issues, which there was, and that expect that it's not going, not that I won't appreciate it if it got delivered on the date that they mentioned, but if it is late, it's late, and I'd rather have a finished product as meeting what they were trying to attempt to do, as opposed to something that wasn't meeting their standards, and more impatient to wait. That's the way I was kind of looking at it. So when, you know, targets were missed, I expected it. I do appreciate the fact that they, you know, were trying to meet certain dates, and that's what a lot of the talk was about, you know, going back and forth. But I was quite all right with it. Wasn't disappointed, in other words. I get it when I get it and hope that it looks and performs the way it does. Have not shaved with them yet, but I'll talk about that when I get started with them. Alright, so here we go. That's going to be setting 3. I don't know if you can see that or not. How does this compare to the Q-Shave? By weight, two totally different animals. This one here is a lot heavier. Shave-wise, I don't think, the best of my memory, I don't think that the Q-Shave is near as aggressive as the Merkur. At least that's been my experience, the way I remember it. But with setting 3, there is still a little bit of a blade feel, which I think, since if you're adjusting throughout your shave, I think with the first pass, I think some people will be okay with it, because by the time you hit setting 2 and then the time you hit setting 1, one's going against the grain. It's really smooth, not uncomfortable at all. Using your first pass for your, I guess you might say, reduction of your beard, your big beard growth reduction. That's a mouthful. Oh, by the way, I've got 2 days worth of growth also. Like I said, that even with the 3, you're going to have a little bit of a blade feel there. And since there's dots in between the numbers, you know, you can go halfway. This doesn't click and stop in there, so you can adjust accordingly. So in other words, if it's in between a dot and a 3, or whatever the case might be, dot and a number, you can adjust however you want to. It does come in 3 different finishes. Like I said, with the 3, it's still that blade feel. It is there. It comes in, this one here is a satin finish. It comes with a nice shiny chrome finish, and also comes with a gold finish. And I was lucky enough to land one of those. Kind of saving that one there for later on this month. It is a beautiful shaver. Got it off eBay, was used one time. And a whole lot cheaper than what you paid for it being brand new. Like I say, the slickness does, to me, just doesn't seem to be quite as slick as some of the other soaps that I've been using. Feels creamy, whips up nice. It just, to me, just doesn't seem to be quite as slick as the others. And it is vegan based. Don't know if that has a whole lot to do with it, but it might for some folks. I did watch one video. Haven't been doing a whole lot in the way of social media through the holidays. Did watch one video that I thought was pretty cool. And it was made here of recent history, 2019, and was talking about, you know, when person just now starting to get started out and shaving and what, you know, to use and all that sort of thing. And it was more centered towards the, alright, maybe I didn't get enough soap in there. It was centered around what you need to get started and the recommendations. And thought the gentleman did a pretty good job with that sort of thing. Because it's definitely your mileage may vary type situation. Because a Merkur Futur for some will be their go-to shaver, and for a lot of other folks it may not be, because like I say, it is an aggressive shaver. Even on setting 3 there is quite a bit of blade feel. When you get to settings 2 and 1, things are a lot smoother. Feels really nice. I enjoy it. It's a with it being adjustable, I can adjust the shave however I want it to be. If I want it to be aggressive, I can make it aggressive, and if I want it to smooth out just a bit, be a little bit gentler on the shave, it's easy to do. That's the beauty of having an adjustable shaver. Alright, yes, the green pass. Go ahead and change it before I forget. Get started. I do that sometimes, forget where I'm at. I usually shave it with one that's already set. There it is, setting number 2 across the green. As it goes for the blade, did what I've been doing with these shave sticks. Did push the blade all the way to 3. I say push. I couldn't tell the difference between the first or the third shave. Did really well. It's a sharp blade, that's for sure. And maybe what I'll do is I'll revisit this soap. It just doesn't seem to be as slick as a lot of the other soap that I've used before. Stick soap or not. I'll revisit it later on and use a different shaver and see if maybe that doesn't make a world of difference. Maybe with the soap with an aggressive shaver, it doesn't, not a good match maybe. Wouldn't think so, that would be quite the case, but I don't know. I'm trying to remember. I remember probably over a year ago maybe, it was a while back, I saw a video where somebody was using this soap and didn't think the slickness was quite where it needed to be. And I'm wanting to say it was Flash Boredom, but I can't remember Flash. I can't remember if you were the one I watched that was the case or not. At least that's what stuck in my head. When I bought it, I you know, but like any other soap, I try to give it a whirl to see how it works for me. Because how soap works for one person may be totally different for another. This knot is really not like, you know, like Tim's video. If you get to see it, at times it just did not want to turn loose of the soap. See if I can get some squeezed out here. It's not like I don't have enough water. I've got plenty of water. It just does not like turning loose of the soap. I'm going to have to add some more. Putting it here on the end. Oddly enough, my previous shaves weren't quite like this, or I think maybe I worked more lather in. I have had quite a bit of fun with this boar. It is a little pokey, It's got a little scritch to it. But when you splay it and you try to, work it like that, it's not too terribly rough. Like I say, I might even take a chunk and put it in a bowl and see what kind of lather I work up, see if that doesn't make a difference. Maybe it's just because my face lathering skills are still got a long ways to go. Alright, going to go ahead and move this to setting 1. There it is. As expensive as this shaver is, if you're not liking aggressive shaves, you probably won't want to get this one. But as it goes for the efficiency of it, it's very efficient without putting out a whole lot of effort. You might be able to pick up some of that feedback. And that's on setting 1. But I tell you what though, there is not much left after all that. My face is usually, the past week, smooth. Almost an effortless shave, trying to get something, I guess you might say close to BBS, which is very close. Just doing a general, typical shave like I just did, without putting out a whole lot of effort, going different directions, doing the little pickups or whatever. Hey, it is very smooth. Even through here, especially on this side here where the hair grows in different directions, it is very smooth right through there. It's a very efficient shaver. Definitely smooth. Now I do pick up a bit of stinging, usually on my neck, I've noticed with this shaver, even with a blade that's on the first or third try. Do pick up a little bit, right through there, get a little bit of stinging. But outside of that, very smooth shave. Even with all the feedback and as aggressive as the shave was. When I started the first one with a 6, went 6, 5, and 4, it was like, holy cow. I thought, this is an aggressive shaver. In which, like I say, the article from Sharpologist, it confirmed it, right along with it. It's an aggressive shaver. And it is. Definitely gives you a good close shave though, that's for sure. I mean, it is hard to tell a person, just how close, and there's not hardly anything left. In other words, that pickup, just trying to get BBS, there's not I got just a tiny bit right here, but that is it. Everything else is very smooth. Yeah, so in other words, 2 days worth of growth. Halfway through yesterday, in other words, nobody even really noticed that I hadn't shaved. Of course, most of my whiskers are light colored, but even at that though, a lot of people didn't really even notice that I had some beard growth there. It was a very close shave. I did this 2 times in a row. This will be the second time I shaved with this this setup using the 3, 2, and a 1 setting on this shaver. I like how I got this set up with the menthol and the peppermint. Really nice cooling effect. This bottle here I've had for a moment, so you'll have a hard time finding this one here. I jumped on it when I first, not when I first saw it, but down towards the end, I guess you might say. Somebody must be at the door. Guess I'm going to have to wrap this up here pretty soon. Anyway, this is a really nice container. And alright, I'll put a link down below to all this good stuff. Oh, this is going to be smelling good today. think I'm going to have to go see what's going on. Hope everybody's doing well. Stay safe and smooth shaves to you.